Hello, I am Rich. I am a 28 years in recovery, long-term recovery. And today I am going to talk about the need for a way for people who run different recovery awareness groups to network in a more comprehensive way and maybe be able to put together a presentation with people of all different kinds of walks in all different forms of recovery, and also with people who are members of a family member who lost their life to addiction, and create a perspective from all angles. Be able to also include ER nurses who can explain the different effects of different drugs, some of the newer ones that I may not even really know their effects. And if we can do it in such a way that we can create a conversation that is deeper than even possibly the anonymous people or generation found, and not make the movie about education, about the drugs and the alcohol and what they do to you and the different things that you can do with it. Um, I'd like to I'd like to hit it. I'd like to have it so that it hits on all different aspects of recovery. Families who have lost a person, people in recovery, people that work in ER, neurologists that can explain some things that happen when a person is an active addiction and what happens afterwards. And also have the ER nurses explain things that they've seen, things that they know, and have it be a real education. I I know films like The Anonymous People and Generation Found have kind of opened the crack to people who maybe have never drank or used drugs or been in that environment. And those are the people that I think need to be educated as much as children do, because when you're a long term recovering alcoholic, you can almost tell what people, which people are using, or which people may be distracted. And I think if we get deeper into it and do it in a more in depth explanation way, in which it will inform people to know what to look for. And not every addict or alcoholic is going to behave the same way, but there are certain things that you you pick up after years. After years of recovery. I know the way I was when I was drinking. And this is something that I think would be educational as well as informative to those who might be interested in the ins and outs of recovery. But you know, this is something that I would like to do. It's, I've always wanted to do something in all my years of recovery, and I'm involved with a couple of groups in my area, and, but not to the degree I'd like to be. I think maybe I'd like to create something a little bit different and be able to create type of things that will inform people. You know, sometimes behaviors people have when they are in the early stages of recovery, when they're not using, very similar to what they were doing before they quit. Because people, when they start, a lot of times when you reach a point of addiction, what it is, you're using the alcohol or the drugs as a crutch or an answer for something that you couldn't find yourself, and you were afraid to ask somebody else the answer for that might have it. And I think it's important to understand how other people think. And if we can educate people in different ways, in in films where, you know, maybe have a film and see you, the way I look at it is you could have maybe one mini documentary where you're talking to all sorts of different addicts from different levels of the economics and also neighborhoods all across the USA. And then after that, maybe have another documentary on the aspect of the loss of families having a loss, or people being severely uh, severely injured in drug driving accidents where they weren't the cause of it, or maybe they were. Then you could possibly have another mini one, where you have the nurses and nurses from different high profile hospitals that have dealt with many kinds of people coming in through the hospital with addiction, and also explaining the effects of different drugs. Then you could also, after that, have doctors, neurologists, um, all sorts of physical doctors that can detail different things that can happen to your body with long-term use with alcohol. I think that it could be all one big documentary, but to be honest with you, to do all four of those facets, to really cover them and really explain them to people and bring them to people, I think that it would be hard to put each aspect in together and have it be effective. I think if you created a series of these things, where all sorts of things can develop disease wise, where doctors and neurologists can explain, have a chance to fully explain, and people who, you know, have different long term effects. Some of it, you have some people who are famous that get teased on about, he was an addict or he's an alcoholic, or he's on drugs or whatnot. It's not an easy thing, and I think that if we can portray it as such to young people and really put the real thing out there, I think you'll find a lot of discouragement with that. And I don't know if it's possible, but this is my idea. And I just wanted to put it out there on YouTube and see if anybody thought it might be something worthwhile.